The following program makes use of copywritten material as part of a psychological examination of music. All music copyrights remain property of their respected creators. Hey guys, today's show is brought to you by 12th Street Bar. 12th Street Bar really is the venue that I can only imagine any of you guys should ever even go to because it's so badass. It's got the classiest drinks in town, great atmosphere. It's got great shows that come continuously. Whenever they're not having a show, they've got karaoke. Luckily for us, on Saturday, they've got a band called No Rehearsal, which is doing pretty big things. You can even find them on Spotify. They'll be playing January 14th, this Saturday. Definitely go out there, catch it, check it out. Grab you one of those $4 Long Islands or $1.50 domestic drafts, considering it will be on a Saturday. 12th Street Bar is open Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 2 a.m., Saturday through Sunday, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. They're located at 1024 12th Street, Huntsville, Texas, which is exactly one block from the courthouse. It's really easy to find. Definitely, guys, this is a place that's really got things going on, especially for the kind of people that listen to our podcast. I mean, you can go out and find some of those ran down old honky tonks in Huntsville. That's pretty much what else we have. You've got old people bars. You guys want to go to old people bars? Maybe some of you. No, probably not. No, go to a place where shit's happening. It's the only place in town that has things happening at that time frame. 12th Street Bar. What are you doing tonight?
Hey kids, welcome to today's show. Happy 2017. We made it. We didn't die. I always have a fear that on New Year's every year we're gonna die. I don't know if that's just every movie or every fucking paranoia I've had my entire life. I feel like it's the countdown. It's the fucking countdown. I always think whenever, 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year, bam, we're all dead.
I remember Y2K, I was like that.
Yeah, I was closing my eyes the whole time, like just clenching on the couch, like, and then I opened my eyes and we weren't dead. We're still here. Maybe we are dead, and maybe this is just the afterlife.
Yeah,
Who
man,
knows?
You know what? New year, new me.
New year, hashtag New Year, new me.
I haven't had a fucking cigarette all year, which is pretty cool.
Hey, man.
I'm vaping now, and I told my boss today that I was vaping. He was like, "Cool, man. Can you do any tricks?" And I was like, "No, but I can magically turn into a douchebag."
There you go. Anyways, but you said New Year, new me. That means brand new episode for the Conversationalists podcast. In today's episode, we got a brand new showcase special for you. John went all balls with this one. He wrote a goddamn school-like book report on his favorite band of all damn time.
Oh, yeah.
9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, and, with the lead singer Severus Snape.
Yeah.
If you would turn to Halo 17...
No, this was a fun one. It was a good one to start our year off. Like I said, you went all balls with the research and all that you put into, and I went in not all balls, but I say medium balls for as far as music, listening to the music. I've told you many times before that 9 Inch Nails has been a band that's been on my radar, but not nearly as big as it has been for you. Yeah. So this gave me the chance to go through and listen to every little bit of music that I didn't get the chance to. And I was very happy with it, man. I enjoy me some 9 Inch Nails. I enjoy some Trent Reznor. He's a wacky kind of guy. And
yeah. Would you say that this research has improved anything?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's sort of like if I was at a 2 with 9 Inch Nails, it probably took me up to like a 5 or 6.
Nice.
Which that's not bad. If you look at my Spotify, you'll probably see like maybe 1 or 2 9 Inch Nails. Which that's a lot for me, because usually it takes a lot for me to like dedicate myself to like, okay, I'm going to save this to my playlist that I'm always going to listen to, so that's we're making progress, me and 9 Inch Nails.
I'd have to say I was at a 9.5, and I think I'm at a 9.7.
Hey, good for you, man. So, but no, this was a great show, and I guess we'll let you decide if you like it or not. Anyways, Johnny, take us there, buddy.
Welcome to the Conversationalist.
Let's talk music.
So I finally watched that movie, World's Greatest Dad.
Oh, that's the one where what's his name? Robin Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah, his son kills himself or some shit like that.
Yeah, did you not see it?
I know, I get the bullet points of it, and I know Chris Novoselic makes a guest appearance in it, and I know his son was like a real shitty person.
Yeah.
But I never saw it. But I feel
Chris Novoselic was in it?
Yeah.
What is he playing in, do you know?
I think there was a scene where Robin Williams, this could be a completely different movie I'm thinking of. Doesn't Robin Williams, like, he sees like an adult movie or adult like magazine or something like that at some point and starts crying. Is that happen in the movie at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that comes up to him and puts his hand over his shoulder.
Oh, okay.
That's Chris Novoselic up near.
No way.
Yep.
Way, yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's it.
The movie was pretty fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
I hear it's really dark.
It is, but at the same time, like, with such a dark theme to it, and it really is dark in nature and pretty depressing, but at the same time, as almost any other Robin Williams movie, there is a lot of funny to it.
Yeah, I've always heard, like, I think what's his name, Bobcat Goldthwait.
Goldthwait,
yeah, he directed it. And he's made a series of movies that were kind of in that same tone, where like they're real dark comedies that don't really make you feel good, but they still make you laugh just because, like, wow, this is really going on. He made a movie called, I think it was called God Bless America or something like that, where it was this older guy who, I imagine if Robin Williams would have been up for it, he probably would have played the character, but it was this older guy who just constantly is watching TV. He sees like this American Idol like show and like, you know, kids do nothing but like on their phones, social networking and stuff like that. And he's like, man, this country's really turned into bullshit. And then him and this little girl just go around killing everybody.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like literally just on, like, they're on a road trip, and they just, every time they see someone that annoys them, they kill them. And until the very end, where they go to like the American Idol spoof show and they kill the judges.
Yeah.
And then in the end, they die themselves. That's the movie, pretty much. So
sounds like fun.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So, all right, man. Today we're going to talk about Michael Trent Reznor and his band,
his little indie project that he just started up.
9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, man.
So, what's your first take on 9 Inch Nails? What was your first glimmer of it in your life?
I think with me and 9 Inch Nails, I think it was kind of in that same period of time whenever I was first discovering music, the Closer music video.
Yeah.
I remember there being like some sort of parental advisory type thing going on. Like, I think fucking in the heydays of MTV, Kurt Loder would come on and be like, okay, we're about to show a music video. It's kind of out there, kind of graphic. They used to play it like after 9 o'clock at night on MTV.
Right.
And there was the video, and that was my first memory. It was staying up late with my brother watching music videos as we did. And just after like Rammstein Du Hast and Intergalactic by Beastie Boys and
that was like the only song I
Flagpole Sitta by Harvey Danger.
That was a good one.
There was Closer. I mean, I know it wasn't the same time period, but like they would always be showing music videos and stuff like that. So, and I remember seeing at least that style of music videos from 9 Inch Nails, like the kind of like the really out there, obscure, almost not as like a pinch bit lighter than Tool stuff. In my opinion,
you think it was lighter than Tool?
Yeah, Tool would just, well, to me personally, Tool always just scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. So for me, it reminded me a lot of like these 90s scary movies that I used to watch with my brother, like really like B scary movies, not shitty ones, but like the ones that you would see like previews to whenever you'd be watching like The Puppet Master or something like that. You'd see like The Cell or like
right. Those are actually 9 Inch Nails music videos, I guess, and Tool music videos remind me a lot of The Cell.
Yeah.
Like, that movie was fucking...
Oh, yeah.
The images and everything, pretty fucking awesome.
But I just remember, like, that eerie feeling, or at least that weird... Looking back at it now, it makes me think of the movie Seven.
Yeah.
Like, just like that weird kind of, like, kind of scary creepiness to it. And I don't really think... But... I think the visuals sort of stole all my train of thought to where I wasn't really paying attention to the music.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like I'd be seeing like Trent Reznor like spinning around in a circle while hanging and like doing the fucking pigs and like all of like the weird shit that was going on. I was like, what the fuck's going on? To where you know the music wasn't registering until later on. It wasn't until actually it was a real long time after that I really actually listened to them. I want to say it was probably still Closer. Obviously, you know that was their most popular song. But I remember my mom buying With Teeth, and we'll get to that one. My mom bought that album,
Right.
and this was in a time period like where my mom was like really like opening up that she like likes different kind of music than what I would expect a mom to like.
Yeah.
Because I remember we always used to listen to like the 94.5 The Buzz and like all the alternative rock stations, and sometimes I'd hear her like kind of quietly singing to herself. And I think it was around that time period that album came out that I caught on that she likes Nine Inch Nails.
Right.
And one day, I don't know where we were driving or what we were doing, but she had the CD in the car and that whole album was playing, and I really liked it. You know, I really caught on with it. It was very catchy, and I caught on to it. That made me want to like go back to the beginning and see what it was that I was really like, you know, what I was watching and listening to back in the day that I didn't even realize I was listening to.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of like a back and forth with me, you know.
Yeah. Well, the music itself, without the music videos, can kind of create like a visual aesthetic in your head. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It kind of creates a lot of what you end up seeing in the music videos.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. Some of their stuff. There's an album that I'm definitely gonna probably talk highly about, but yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like, if you were to listen to their music and you were to just close your eyes and get lost in it, you probably would start to see some shit. Maybe stuff that might be a little disturbing.
Yeah.
But I'm sure your mind would sort of paint the picture, you know.
And whenever you listen to Nine Inch Nails albums, you got to make sure you're nowhere near like a razor blade
or acid, and you'll have a bad trip.
Yeah. I would have to say like my first experience was my parents were karaoke junkies, and they had like all kinds of karaoke CDs and karaoke machines, which they essentially just used the Sega Saturn for the CDGs. They had a song on there on one of the CDs that was Closer from Nine Inch Nails. Mm-hmm. And so that was the first time I actually ever heard Nine Inch Nails ever, just the instrumental aspect. Mm-hmm. And then seeing the words, I want to fuck you like an animal mm-hmm. on the screen. And so my parents hated it. Specifically, my mom really couldn't stand it. And to this day, just that alone mm-hmm. keeps her from, like, she sees that worse than Marilyn Manson. Really? She sees that worse than anything. But, like, my parents are very, like, anti-sexuality. Right. You know what I mean?
Makes them uncomfortable.
Right. It makes them uncomfortable to hear things like that. Like, it's one of those things that, like, I mean, it doesn't matter what's in the song, no matter what curse words. They rather you not listen to it.
Do you think you're going to become like that whenever you become older?
Oh, when it comes to like, whenever it comes to like what I'll let my children listen to mm-hmm. or let kids around me, like, honestly, whenever it comes to curse words, that doesn't bother me. But if it comes to like sexual detail, that's mm-hmm. the one thing I kind of shield them from.
Like you would ground Elias for life if he was singing skeet skeet motherfucker, like anything like that.
No, I mean it depends on
to the
how
window.
old he is.
To the wow.
I'd probably put him in check a certain way.
The sweat
like,
drips down my balls.
Come on, dude.
Skeet,
come on,
skeet.
You know. I'd probably put him in check to some degree, you know. But at the same time, it's just like I see where they were coming from, but still to this day, my mom still doesn't accept the music.
Right.
You know, like she won't listen to any of it because of that.
What do you think that says about the Nine Inch Nails as a band, that like they had that sort of effect on parents and like older people?
Well, I can tell you that Trent Reznor himself, like whenever he started going into the whole music scoring thing, I remember in one of the interviews he was saying, he was like, yeah, I really don't want to be known for the guy who just said that naughty word in the song, you know, and that kind of paints a picture for the rest of the career. There's a certain ultimate change whenever
he shift goes, of their tone.
Right. Well, specifically after he goes to rehab, he's like, okay, I got to get my head straight on. And after that, With Teeth comes out.
Right.
So, I mean...
Makes perfect sense.
Actually, it does, doesn't it? Like, because everything else is suicidal and drug affiliated and sexual and.
You know, I kind of feel like Nine Inch Nails is sort of like a boosted up version of what I think of when I think of like The Cure.
Yeah.
Like, remember how The Cure, like, some of his lyrics like real kind of like sad and depressing, and like it has like those like under message of like meaning something, and it's like, damn, Robert, I'm real sorry for you, man. But then you hear like Trent, and he's talking about like some of the stuff that he's talking about. I was like, shit, he's kind of taken to like this, you know, like it's
Right.
kind of, it's like when we talked about Korn, and like you hear his struggle and you hear his pain through the lyrics and through his voice and through the things that he does with his voice. The first few albums, I hearing him just scream it out and just hear, you know, he didn't really make any of those weird. I mean, obviously, he doesn't do fucking Jonathan Davis sounds or anything like that.
Right.
But he kind of, you feel something's going on, and like.
See, I think that Nine Inch Nails was a lot of like the stepping stone to what Korn became. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that Jonathan Davis would have known how to harness all of his emotions and put it into music if it wasn't for stuff like Nine Inch Nails. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That was the ultimate way. You know, first off, this is in the beginning of industrial music. Industrial music was a thing that existed before Nine Inch Nails. It's just not. Trent Reznor became the face. Mm-hmm. He really did. Industrial music essentially started with bands like Throbbing Gristle and other bands you don't ever hear of. You know, it was essentially what it was it was punk music that had effects and sounds of people that were living in industrial life, old factories breaking down and shit. All these people,
clanky sounds, and shit.
Yeah, all these clanky, crazy machine noises all the time, and they wanted to kind of create a punk that had even less rules than punk. You know, I think what was the lead singer of Throbbing Gristle was talking about in the documentary that I watched on Nine Inch Nails. She was talking about, you know, I like the punk element, but even there's still a sense of, you know, still set rules. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, you still, you know, all you got to learn really is a power chord, right? Mm-hmm. And they were like, we don't even want that. We don't even need a power chord for the music we want. We just crazy sounds and just freedom.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of where it came from. And they developed a sound, and other bands at the same time, not even really knowing each other, kind of randomly went into this industrial movement, mm-hmm. and it became a thing. And one of the big bands that really developed out of it was Ministry.
Oh yeah.
And at the time, whenever Ministry and the Revolting Cocks, which was Al Jorgensen from Ministry's other band, mm-hmm. They were in a rise on industrial music. Trent Reznor was like in 5 other bands doing like pop. Everything to try to get pop. Trent Reznor's always had like this pop element to his music. He always has. And you can hear that in Nine Inch Nails. And whenever he first went to like a Revolting Cocks concert, he was telling somebody, one of the other founding members of Nine Inch Nails, he was like, that right there, pointing at Al Jorgensen, he was like, that is my idol. That is what I want to do. And so eventually, while he was working in this studio, on his off time, they allowed him the chance to work and do whatever he wanted to do, just anything in his off time. So him and his buddy went in there, and like one person was behind the window and the other person was just recording, and they'd go back and forth and just kind of creating sounds. This was the beginning of Pretty Hate Machine, which eventually came out in 1989. At the beginning of their songs, they had like a handful of songs that they wanted to do. And a very famous record dude, the owner of TVT Records, it was Television Tunes. It was a lot of things that he was doing was TV related music, just like different things. So he wanted to branch out and start doing record, you know, albums, professional albums. He had the money to do it. It wasn't a problem. He just wanted to step away and kind of get a bigger field of things. So whenever he hired Nine Inch Nails to do, because he really liked those songs that he already had set up in that recording studio, he enjoyed them. but he kind of he put him out there somewhere overseas. I don't remember exactly where. It may have been like France or Europe or something like that, to actually complete the album, professionally record Pretty Hate Machine, other than just what those sounds they were working on was in the previous recording studio. And he kind of had an idea, just kind of expecting Depeche Mode. That's what he was wanting. It was like, yeah, this is Depeche Mode. We're going to get a sound like Depeche Mode. Trent Reznor comes back with the album after he's already signed with Pretty Hate Machine, and the guy listens to it. And obviously, it's a badass album. It was a wonderful album. A lot of people to this day still go back, listen to that 9 Inch Nails album. That was 9 Inch Nails to them. The guy who originally signed him up was like, this is horrible. Like, he was just expecting Depeche Mode the whole fucking time.
Right.
He legitimately worded it as an abortion. So, I mean, it's one of those things. So they were kind of stuck with this deal, and for like 3 years, he was stuck. He was working Trent Reznor was doing whatever he could to get out of that label. He did not want that deal. He could only work under TVT and only what that guy wanted him to do. So kind of for 3 years, he never came out with anything. But that whole time, he was also working on something under different names, not really putting it out yet. But that was the second album. I don't know if we should go into that or talk about the first album.
Yeah,
first.
we're kind of you're kind of on a you're kind of a big old snowball just going down this hill, getting bigger and bigger and going like.
One of my favorite bands, and
I just wanted to sit. I'm gonna sit back. No. Hold on, shut the fuck up. I'm gonna sit back. You read your little book report 5-page project that you got there, and I'll get my red marker and I'll grade it at the very end.
You get a D-.
D+. No. D for this dick. No. No. I want to talk about that album, man. I want to talk about that first one because the early stuff. First off, I don't think of them as an 80s band. Even though it's 89, it's the last year of the 80s,
Yeah.
they still fit in the 80s category. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So knowing that they went all the way back to that time period and thinking about the music, just whenever you said Depeche Mode, I was like, yeah, that's the music that was around for these guys. That's what these guys were sort of influenced by in a way.
That was a relatable kind of group, other than Ministry.
Yeah.
Well, essentially, what they were was a mix between the pop element of Depeche Mode and the chaos of Ministry.
Right. But it still just sort of like bogs me to like think that like that was sort of what was going on while they were sort of shifting and shaping into who they were as a band. Just sort of like the first steps. But Pretty Hate Machine, listening to it, Head Like a Hole has always been a song that I've enjoyed, and like listening to it. Knowing that I didn't know that was how they like the first song off their first album. That's always something that means something to me. Like, how did they start off their career? What was the one song that shot them off?
What was the entry level?
Yeah, exactly. And Head Like a Hole. I mean, if I could say one thing about 9 Inch Nails in the early days is they had a sexy as fuck bass. Think about the bass in that first album. That do like not even just that song, but like there's a few songs in there where it just sounds fat and it's just carrying the groove. Like, I've never wanted to dance and kill myself so much at the same damn time. Yeah, the heater went on. Don't freak out. I want to just dance and just groove, but at the end of it, it's like, fuck it all, man. Fuck it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what surprises me so much that fucking 9 Inch Nails was able to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'd have to say that that's one thing they've always actually carried as well. It's not been something that they only had like just for that one album. It was certainly something that they've carried on. Like, you can fucking hear it in With Teeth, Year Zero, all this other stuff. I'd say especially Broken, the next album. But the bass is what really... honestly, what I like about 9 Inch Nails that adds to the industrial movement was the funk groove element.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean by that bass.
Yeah.
Like every song that was predominantly mostly bass, because you take their songs and what they consist of. I mean, later on, they sort like you're saying, like there's kind of a shift and kind of change. Whatever. Nowadays, it's a little bit different than what it was before. I feel like back in the day, it was kind of like the groove, like fat drums and fat bass and like sort of like weird kind of like, I don't know, synth sounds or something like that kind of going on. It just felt fat. It felt bit, like.
It was chaotic, but at the same time, it was like a manufactured, like well produced into like a pop song. You know, Head Like a Hole was like the perfect industrial song.
Oh yeah, totally.
In so many different elements, like just because yes it had that groove element, and yes it did have those fucking industrial sounds. The machines, you hear machines, you see machines when you listen to it, you know what I mean. Other songs they had were fucking Terrible Lie, which I really enjoyed. Down in It was actually their first single.
Okay.
Down in It was the one like where he's got the music going, but it's almost like spoken word. You know what I mean? Just kind of like I was feeling so high, I just couldn't believe. You know, like it was almost like a hip hop element, but it was one of the first music videos that they did as well. And I think I heard somewhere that they were filming the music video, and there's like the scene where there's a helicopter looking down at a body, and like some other like viewing, somebody else viewed the body laying down, and they called the ambulance because they thought it was like a dead body. But they had Something I Can Never Have.
Yeah, that was a big one for me.
Very emotional.
But not just by that. I think obviously, I mean, I didn't hear the original version of that song first. I heard the Flyleaf version of it first, which I love the Flyleaf version.
I forgot they did a version.
Flyleaf does a very amazing cover of that song, which really is what made them famous to begin with. But whenever I heard that song, I was like, fuck yeah, this song's great. And then someone says, oh, it's a Nine Inch Nails song. Then I go back and I listen to the Nine Inch Nails song.
Yeah.
What Flyleaf did was polar opposite to what Nine Inch Nails did.
Right.
But Nine Inch Nails, Flyleaf did their thing with it, but Nine Inch Nails, like...
made it... I'd say that they kind of made it isolated and lonely.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I would love to take this opportunity for you, John, to grace our listeners with your rendition of Something I Can Never Have, as sung by Kermit the Frog.
What?
You remember the song? You remember it?
Yeah, I do remember it.
That's what I'm asking you to do right now for me, man.
To play it?
Here, I'll set you up. I'll be Fozzie Bear, and you.
I can do the Elmo man. I can't do
no,
the.
No. You gotta do Kermit the Frog, man. Oh, wait, shut the fuck up. Waka waka, waka waka, waka waka, waka waka.
I still recall the taste of your tears.
It hurt my
All right, that's it. That's all.
Man, I was hoping you go.
I do the Elmo version, but
I don't want to hear your Elmo ever fucking again. Kermit the Frog is where it's at.
You make this all go away.
But no, that song is a very lonely sounding song. Not just lyrically, but just the way the vocals just sound so like, I don't know, like just that kind of like completely isolated from everything else that's going on.
Right.
I don't know. I love that they can create that tone, that lonely feeling.
Well, I think even the lyrics go back to like, it sounds like he's talking about somebody, and then at the end it's just like, bam, he's talking about his previous self.
Right. Oh shit.
Damn.
Snaps on that one.
I'm
sir.
pretty.
That was some haiku poetry shit.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, man, they had Sin on that album. That was one of my favorite fucking songs from that album for sure. That's What I Get was another one that I really enjoyed. But at the same time, it kind of has like an amateur feeling to it. That's What I Get.
How so?
Song. Just like the way that it's done really well. It's just like, it feels like it's missing a little something.
You don't think that they were just going for like a minimalistic type feeling?
Very well could be.
I feel like this type of band that would find art in minimalism, like the little you do, but that having a certain weight to it.
That explains the Ghost album for sure.
Can't wait to talk about that one. Anyways, onwards to if you want to go look off what it says on their Spotify, after Pretty Hate Machine, they had like Head Like a Hole, which was like a whole bunch of different remix versions.
Yeah.
And I noticed they did a lot of that throughout their whole career. Is they would put out an album, and then they'd put the remix album, and then they'd do another remix of the remix album, and the remix of the remix of the remix, until they finally 10 years later released their next album.
Right.
You know, it seems like they were always like trying to like give it another voice or give it another feeling, but still have like the same words or like, you know, something different. You know, I was
different
always
element.
Yeah, I always admired Trent for like the fact that he does like he always tries to like change it up. You know, like it's never the same thing. It's just always like kind of switching it up.
Yeah.
But anyways, in 1992 they did Broken.
So, in Broken, it was during that period whenever he was writing and recording it, was during that period whenever he was banned from really being able to record anything and, you know, have anything come out. And he was still fighting against TVT, which they just had a battle. They didn't like each other at all. And so Broken, you can hear a lot of pain and anger and depression through the whole album. It was violent, and a lot of it probably has to do with like the music industry.
I can see that
in that aspect, especially when you hear like Happiness and Slavery.
Oh yeah. I was very like kind of I wasn't shocked, but I was like, whoa, I mean,
did you watch the music video?
No, I didn't watch the music video, but like listening to it and just hearing it is like, holy shit, like what's going on, Trent?
Yeah. The music video itself was very graphic. It definitely X-rated. It never showed on TV.
Like full penetration?
Well, it was one guy being tortured by a machine and completely nude and all kinds of things happening to him.
So there was no insertion?
Yeah, by the machine into him.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, it's not fun to watch. A lot of people involved didn't even really watch the video.
I wonder if they just like, all right, here we go, and action. And then everybody just turned their head from the camera.
Close their eyes. But apparently, like the actor was known to be into like BDSM as well as depression and
that freaky shit,
masochism. So he was into it. You know what I mean? And so it was one of those things. It was just like, I don't know, man. I just don't think that in that time Trent Reznor had any boundaries. And so he was just trying to push what is the most chaotic, what is the most angry, what is gonna fuck with people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that album had songs like Wish. That was a great fucking music video as well as song. Happiness and Slavery. Gave Up was great. I believe on that music video he had Marilyn Manson play guitar. And
I feel like this time period of music was like the age of like Manson and Trent Reznor.
Well, I don't think that Manson actually really came out back then.
Well, I just feel like whenever you think about like the mid 90s,
right?
You think about the shock, like the dark, the dark side of rock and roll. It was coming from underneath the ground, and out emerged Manson and Trent Reznor with their fucking hair over their faces and all the darkness that came with it.
You also got to consider, like, at that time, Manson's producer was Trent Reznor.
Hey, how about that?
So I mean, they were all well connected. I mean, eventually it got to a point after like the third album that Trent Reznor did. Marilyn Manson said somewhere that I just kind of had to make the decision: do I want to be mediocre artist and keep going, or do I want to be something better? And I don't think Trent would ever actually let me beat him in popularity. You know what I mean? So it was kind of something along the lines of they were both greedy for the same thing, and it wasn't working. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So there was also the song "Suck" and "Gave Up." On this album, Broken, it says that it was in 2000, but I think that Spotify must be mistaken at some point, because I don't know when along the lines, but there was another album that came out off of Broken called Fixed. So it was all of those songs, but after he had already seeked peace. You know what I mean? So eventually, whenever Broken did come out, was 92, and it came out and it did well. I don't know if it did quite as good as Pretty Hate Machine, but Pretty Hate Machine didn't do as good as it could have.
This was something that maybe I didn't do enough research into, but something that I've always been curious about is just like how how received they were in the music industry. Like, sure, people really liked their songs and they had a following and everything like that, but like, were they like, did they hit big really early and then like bands shot them out, or they were just sort of coasting until finally they?
I think it's been a subtle progression, but they hit really big in underground music, along with bands like Ministry. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, so like everybody who knew music well enough was loving this shit. But I mean, it at this point, you know, it wasn't anything until this next album we talk about, which I think we're ready for. The next album that came out, he was already doing better. He had freedom from that other company. And before he actually wrote and produced this one, he bought a house in Los Angeles, which was primarily known as the house where the Manson family murdered Sharon Tate. Sharon Tate and her unborn child and everybody else. So it was a very famous place, but had blood stains on the walls and stuff still from the Manson days. And there was a door that had pig written in blood from that night. And after eventually he moved out, the door was missing, so everybody's kind of like saying Trent took the fucking door, but he probably wouldn't answer to it.
Right.
But also he wouldn't answer to it being the Sharon Tate murder house. He was just like, oh, really? I didn't know that, you know? So there's some sort of mystique illusion that Trent usually keeps to himself, you know what I mean? Kind of create that master, you know, perspective. So you would generally get the feeling that this house was probably a little haunted or kind of just negative vibes or feeling. Trent Reznor really used that in this album that he came out with in 1994, The Downward Spiral, which was definitely, arguably, one of the best albums.
I would say so. I feel like that really just sort of put them out there as
it did.
Band. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And a song that I believe was probably on their side B. I'm not sure. I know that it was a song that they weren't really expecting to hit like it did. But whenever they wrote that, we're talking about the song Closer.
Yes.
Whenever they did write it, they had all the instrumentals first. He couldn't come up with the lyrics. And then in like one day he came back and he was like, all right, I finally got the lyrics. And then he sang them all out. You know, this is a song with the chorus, I want to fuck you like an animal. And then the guy that was working with him was like, that's great. You took probably the most popular song we could have had and you just fucked it up. It's like, this will never get played on the radio. You really just fucked this up. He was like, yeah, no. So it was one of those things. It really did get many fucking plays. It is one of the most popular songs still in music today. You know, especially when you think Nine Inch Nails, you think that song, Closer. And the instrumental aspect of it was fucking phenomenal.
Oh yeah, everything about it, the weird sounds that are in the background.
Yeah.
Like that's something that I always really liked. But even just like the drums and
the hi-hat.
Yeah.
Or the Yeah. But I mean, they were all machine sounds. They weren't real drums. So you hear like ticks on a clock, and then for the open hi-hat you hear air going through something, and that was fucking phenomenal because he took like a drum set out of things that aren't a drum set, you know what I mean, and just kind of created all the sounds you get, but more of a natural approach, really. You know what I mean? And there were a lot of songs on there that had that creepy fucking element. You know, a lot of pain, a lot of anger, a lot of effects, very well produced for what it was. And you kind of get a hint that there was a little bit of haunting. You know what I mean? You get a feeling that there was a little bit of this extra force in
But
the
you don't believe in
background.
that sort of thing, so how
I
could you...
don't. I don't really believe in that stuff, but at
Yeah.
the same time, when you listen to the album, like, it's just so... Music in general, to me, is phenomenal. So you get that aspect of phenomena when you listen to it. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of extreme. As if everybody that worked on the album may have felt the haunting. You know what I mean? May have been due to the stigmata from knowing what it was. You know what I mean?
I think it was all their brains just playing around with them. But anyways.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like the stigmata, knowing that it was the Sharon Tate murder house. You know, I think that's kind of something that's like, okay, cool.
That makes me want to like own like many houses and be like, yeah, there totally was a killing like right over there. All right, have fun. And then allow bands to record in it. And then they'll be like, dude, we totally felt the spirit in there, man. There was some ghost fucking with us the whole time. Oh,
Yeah.
it fucking wasn't, man. I just kidding with you. It's all just a joke.
It's that force of ignorance. You know what I mean? They don't know any better. You
Right.
know.
But like if you tell them, man, spirits in this house,
Right.
and then being all like, oh my god, maybe there are spirits.
Well, you know, that's what magic is ultimately. You know.
I know. I'm just saying. I want to do to someone what someone probably did to them, and be like, yo, Sharon Tate got murdered right over there, and then be like, do you feel it? Do you feel it? All right, let's write a song about it. You know, I want to do something like that.
10 years later, Trent Reznor. We hate to tell you this, but the murders actually happened across the street.
Totally. It was all in your head. Anyways, this album, I was always a fan of Closer, but I was also a huge fan of March of the Pigs. Just something about the
music video was badass.
Something about this, the right off the bat energy, that, you know, like with the drums going on.
Yeah.
All the drums always sounded phenomenal on this damn album. I guess it goes without saying, it's a song that I need to talk about for sure is definitely Hurt. The same thing what happened with me before with Flyleaf and Something I Can Never Have. You hear Johnny Cash sing Hurt, and you think Johnny Cash just fucking owned the song. The song is perfect. Oh my god. Wait a second, what? It's a Nine Inch Nails song? Get the fuck out of here. Johnny Cash is singing Nine Inch Nails. Go back. Let's listen to the Nine Inch Nails version. You listen to that, it's like, oh my fucking god.
Well,
you know?
I mean, that's one of the things, like, the Hurt from Nine Inch Nails was great.
Yeah.
But when Johnny Cash did it, there was more to it.
Oh, I know.
There were
no,
so
no,
many
no,
more elements. I mean, you
it's
think
not even
about-
the same notes. It's not even the same, you know, like,
Yeah.
it's completely different. Yeah, I know, but listening to him sing,
Sing the words.
Sing the words, like,
Yeah,
it's two different elements to it.
right.
You know, hearing this old man say, I hurt myself today or whatever, and then hearing Trent sing, I hurt myself today, same words, but just different character, different tone, different
Right.
voice, everything like that.
And possibly a different meaning.
Totally.
You know? I mean, ultimately, both versions are about drug addiction. You know? With Trent, it was probably more like heroin. You know?
Johnny was them pills.
Yeah, and cocaine, I think, too, right? But, I mean, Johnny Cash's version was just, like, so emotionally overwhelming. Like, watching the music video will fucking hit you.
Oh yeah, it hit me in like a really big way. I remember recording that music video. This is how fucking old we are. I remember recording the music video on VH1 with a fucking blank videotape.
Yeah.
Just hitting record and then putting it, you know, watching it, rewinding it back in my VCR. Okay, you know, playing it again. You know, like that's how we had music back then, was music videos and VCRs and shit like that.
It was pretty fucking amazing. I'd say that the original Nine Inch Nails one wasn't really any better than the other songs on the album. Like the song itself was, but like the recording aspect was just as good.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
but when Johnny Cash did it, it was like so emotional.
And you gotta realize, man, this was like 10 years later. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So technology has probably advanced a little bit more. He had probably more resources, and it's fucking Johnny Cash. He can do whatever the fuck
Yeah.
he wants. He has unlimited resources to anything. You know, he can make anything sound amazing.
Right.
So,
but it sounded a lot less folky than every other Johnny Cash song. You could hear there was Nine Inch Nails influence, other than just the song. You know, there was a lot of like the musical aspect of repeats and carry-ons. And
I also really like how Johnny Cash, I guess he was an old man and he doesn't like swearing anymore. He didn't want to say crown of shit. He said crown of thorns.
Yeah,
He's like, I don't want to say that word. I don't want to say that potty mouth word.
that was pretty smooth on his end. That album had really fucking cool songs. March of the Pigs, you were talking about, you really dig. The music video is great because it actually shows you a lot of how their shows used to be. Mm-hmm. Because in the music video, he just climbs all over everybody and pushes them down. They were extremely violent in those days, just like Marilyn Manson's shows. You know what I mean? Like, that was a time when everybody was fucking hitting each other, pushing each other, kicking each other, and they loved it. Every once in a while, they'd go to a hospital. Big deal, you know. But seriously, like they would go all out. Now you go to a Nine Inch Nails concert, it's not the same.
No,
it's better in many other aspects, but definitely a lot of that violence, that rage. It was something that people enjoyed in those days. You know, if you actually physically went to a small venue to see Nine Inch Nails back in that day, you would go away wanting more. You know what I mean?
Real quick, just a quick tangent. You were saying how if you were to go to a Nine Inch Nails concert nowadays, it wouldn't be as violent as it was back then. And I think it probably has something to do with more of like the visual aspect that I think that they do in their shows.
Yeah.
I remember once I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, Violet Zellers. Now she's Violet Hanners because she got married. Back at the time she was Violet Zeller. We were real big. She's a real big Nine Inch Nails fan. Even though she's a professional, like, good-looking woman, she's a model. You look at her, you think, oh, she's probably into Biebs or Rihanna and everything like that. But then you get into her mind, she's really fucking hardcore, like, balls deep into Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
We were like, one of these days, we're going to go see Nine Inch Nails just on every drug humanly possible and just get fucking, like, like, taken away by everything with that music. I don't know if it's the best music to, like, do that stuff with, but it was definitely on our agenda at fucking 20 years old.
Yeah. And like what you say about like you'd expect models to be into like Biebs or whatever, Rihanna, that's like a shitty like predisposition that we already naturally have, which makes models look bad. You know what I mean? I mean, they wouldn't.
I'm just saying, and I'm speaking specifically about Violet in general. I'm just saying, if you were to look at her, you think, nah, I don't think she's into that. Just because, like, but every picture she ever takes, she's in a fucking bikini. But you get to know her a little bit, and you find out that she's real hardcore into like rock and roll music and everything.
Yeah.
But that's just her.
Yeah, I certainly remember. I remember Violet. I mean, I just think that it's shitty that we all always like naturally address good-looking people with like dumb. You know what I mean?
Biebs ain't dumb. Beams is fucking life, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, going on. Do you want to go to the Fragile next? Because I feel like there's one song on the Fragile that I really want to go into. Unless there's anything on this one that you want to.
Right before that, there was a specific. We're probably not hit every Halo. You know what I mean? Probably won't hit every album he's ever done, but there was a disc that he came out with called Further Down the Spiral, which was one of the remix ones in 1995, just a year later. And there are two specific songs that I do want to mention because those are certainly worthy of being on the original Downward Spiral, and probably, in my opinion, better than the originals. And that would be Piggy, Nothing Can Stop Me Now remix, and Self-Destruction Final, as opposed to Mr. Self-Destruct. I think those versions were just fucking awesome. Because they weren't just great like the others, but they have that remix element of like, they just have extra stuff. All the lyrics, extra stuff, extra music. A lot of what I enjoy out of Nine Inch Nails are ideal for like songs like Piggy, Nothing Can Stop Me Now, and Self-Destruction Final, which I also had that CD growing up. So that I did want to mention because it has affected me in some way. Now, we're in 1999.
1999.
And we've got this other amazing album, if not better, somewhere close to the level of the Downward Spiral. This one's called The Fragile.
It was a good follow-up to that album, is what I would say. I wouldn't say it's any better or any worse. I think it's just a good... Like,
Right.
you get hit with one good thing,
Right.
bam, you get hit with another, good thing.
Right. And this one was furnished with 2 CDs. There are 2 parts of The Fragile, which I believe it's something like 23 tracks altogether for The Fragile. These tracks were also really good, like all the way down. You have your fair share of instrumentals, like really fucking beautiful instrumentals, and then the really heavy or groovy, you know what I mean, songs, like just a compilation. I mean, to go through them, I know one that's affected you in some way, The Day the Whole World Went Away.
That's the song that I wanted to talk about. I remember I heard that song. First off, it was on a trailer to a movie. That was how I first heard it.
Terminator?
Yeah, and I remember thinking, holy shit, this song just made this movie 1,000 times more awesome.
Was it Terminator 4?
It was Terminator Salvation, what
Okay.
it was. So it was, technically it was Terminator 4, but they didn't call it Terminator 4. It was the Terminator Salvation. Like, they're trying to be all, this isn't a part of the original trilogy. This is his own story. Fuck you,
See,
Hollywood.
I'm not big on action movies, but I remember seeing the trailer, and that was wanting me to watch it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it did for me. And then
Yeah.
I watched the movie, and then it was pretty fucking bad.
So
Because they didn't have the song in it. Anyways,
they just the trailer. Okay,
Yeah, it
well,
was
it was a good
just the
trailer. Go watch the trailer.
Yeah.
You don't need to see the movie.
just watch that trailer and wait for the song to. But I heard that song, and I was like, oh my god, this is like setting this amazing, beautiful tone that I really love. Just sort of like this, like very omniscient type of feeling or whatever.
Omniscient?
Yeah, omniscient. And then I listened to the song because I was like, I gotta listen to the song. It was one of the first songs I remember I ever bought off of iTunes. Like, I remember
Oh, really?
I remember I gave my money to my mom because my mom had an iTunes account, and I was like, I really want to buy this song. It's only $1. I got $1. Can I please buy it? And she's like, yeah, sure, buy whatever you want. I got this song, and I just remember how quiet it was, how it was very like bare,
Yeah.
and he's saying
Earthy.
Yeah, he's saying his words, and the day the whole world went away. No, but not even that. Not even that. Just like that complete silence. I have a really cool memory of whenever I first heard that song, and I took it to band practice. It was me, you, and Gary.
Yeah.
We were at the storage unit where we practiced, and I was like, heard the song. Flyleaf did their shit with Something I Can Never Have. We got to do our shit with this song. And we were all huddled over my phone listening to the song together, and it was the silent part. And I remember you and Gary just sort of bent over, like, to my phone, just like, what's happening? Where's it? Like, is the song over? What happened?
Yeah.
And then, da 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 da. The whole thing,
yeah.
the big thing exploded. And I remember, like, everyone just sort of stood up and like, fuck yeah, dude, that was awesome. Like, like, it was like a really, like, they could have done anything, but the way that they went, they exploded after that little bit of silence was like perfect for what they wanted to do.
Well, see, I remember that moment pretty well, but I think before all that happened, you went outside for something, and then me and Gary were working on the inside with something, and I think that you were just like listening to the music, and then you were looking outside, and as all like the quiet part was going on, you saw like clouds going over.
No, that was
something
Wake
like
Up. That was Wake Up.
Was that it?
Gary was playing the guitar part to Wake Up, and that was what that was doing for me.
Okay.
That was a completely different moment. You don't remember shit,
You could
dude.
have just gone with it on the podcast.
Nah, dude. I already know you have a shit memory, and I could say, hey, you remember that one time we did this thing? And you're like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I just go with it, man. Sure, I remember
I'm
that.
calling you out on your bullshit. I'm not going with it. Anyways. Yeah, I really, like I said before, I think this was a great follow-up to the previous one. Just like a lot of good solid songs. The Frail was great.
Oh yeah. Me and Christy have a song from this album. It's like one of our songs when we whenever we look into each other's
How does a
eyes.
couple decide? I haven't done it in a long time.
I sent it to her.
Okay,
when we first started.
that's how I remember
Yeah.
you doing it. Like you send them the song and you be like, "This is a song that reminds me of you" or some
Yes,
shit.
that's
And then they
exactly
listen
what it
to
is.
it and they're like, "That reminds you of me? What reminds you?" And then it was like, "Oh, it's this lyric or it's this melody or this note." I remember I sent a girl a song and I was like, "This one chord that this guy does on the guitar reminds me of you." And it was just like a fucking F major type chord or something like that. And I was like, "That reminds me of you." And she was like, "I don't get it."
Yeah, but you know she's true if she comes back to you and she's like, "You remember this?" He plays the fucking
Yeah.
chord for you. It's like, yeah.
Anyways, the song.
Yeah, the song is "We're in This Together," and that's me and Christy's song that we have together.
Is that y'all's official song, or is that just?
I don't think we have an official. Like we've got a handful. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I send her a lot of music.
Right.
She hasn't sent me too much.
You send her a lot of songs that she says, "Oh, that's probably nice," but deep inside, she's like, "This is fucking stupid."
Yeah, but then she ends up playing it a lot.
Yeah, but how many times have you sent her something and it just get fucking like denied, like you know?
It's happened.
I imagine more times than once.
Man, I don't know. I mean, there was a few songs that I told her, this reminds me of you, and she was like, that's kind of fucked up.
Like what? Give me an example. What?
I can't think of anything.
I
I'm making shit up. I was trying to finish the joke,
Oh,
but
okay.
nothing came to
Okay.
mind.
Train wreck. Anyways.
All right, "The Fragile" was a great song. I think that's the one that's "I won't let you fall apart."
Yeah.
That one, like the beat or the rhythm is just phenomenal to me. And a song I really enjoy, "No You Don't."
That sounds like something a sassy black lady would say. No, you don't.
It actually has a sassy black lady sing the.
Really?
No.
Oh my god, I would have believed you. I didn't hear that song. Mister, just go with it.
Yeah, Lemaire and "The Great Below" are great songs that were played on one of their live albums. Very please, of course, Starfuckers Incorporated is where it's at. There's a lot of fucking songs, man. Almost everything on this sounds good. You can play the whole album without having to skip a track, and it's all related. It's all mingled, kind of like with Sturgill Simpson's "Welcome to Earth" album. What was it called? Sailor.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Or I don't remember what it was called.
Sailor's Guide
to the Universe or some shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Kind of like how that album was just like so perfectly flowing.
Was this an album that because this came out in '99? Did this have any effect on you as a young kid, like growing up? Like, did it help like influence you and like to shape like your style or like the way you act or anything like that? Any of these songs?
Honestly, I didn't know that this album existed until I was in going through my whole tattooing thing. Jody had it on his iPod, and he'd play everything on his iPod, and so it just kind of randomly come up, and I'd hear songs, and I just fucking loved them, and I'd be like, dude, what is this? I got to know what it is. You know what I mean?
I love those moments.
Yeah. Well, that happened a lot there because Jody Donahoe has great fucking music taste. His sense of taste in music, is just really out there. I mean, there's some stuff I may not dig, but I can totally respect, and I like the culture of what it comes from.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
But a lot of stuff I actually learned from working with him and just listening to music. I'll probably learn more about music there than I did about tattooing. But this album, I've only heard some songs. I've heard "Starfuckers." I've heard "The Day the World Went Away." And that was pretty much it. I just remember, and some of the songs that were on the live album. But whenever I heard "We're in This Together" for the first time and "Fragile," like that shit got to me. I was like, this is this is the album I have to have. And really, the whole album, to me, sounded like really good. Like it all worked together with what I was really enjoying. You know what I mean? So, I mean, even songs like Please, I don't know if I said that. I like that song a lot too. I will have to say, I don't remember or have down on my timeline when The Perfect Drug came out, which I believe was on Lost Highway soundtrack.
Oh yeah, that movie.
That is a song that's fucking notable too, because that song kicks ass.
Freaky ass movie.
I never seen The Lost Highway, but I know that Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did the soundtrack.
It's a pretty for the time period.
Like, I think I from Smashing Pumpkins is on it too.
Probably, but I just remember like I'd never seen the movie until I saw a clip, and it was like it had like actors who I knew. It had Bill Pullman, not Bill Pullman, Bill Paxton, you know, from Independence Day, because I had just seen Independence Day. I was like, that's the fucking president from Independence Day, and this fucking creepy ass dude is like walks up to him like real like uncomfortably close to him with this huge smile on his face. He's like, hello, you know, like kind of like just like really uncomfortable, like, what do you want? And he's like, there's a phone call for you. And then he picks up the phone and is like, hello, and it's the guy who's in front of him talking to him on the phone. Right. Like just really weird, like out there shit that was going on. But I didn't know that he did the soundtrack to that movie.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Well, I think I from Smashing Pumpkins is one of my favorite Smashing Pumpkins songs is on that. But I mean, I'll talk a little bit later about the stuff he's done outside of Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
But I just want to mention that one for sure, because that's a song that really means a lot to me, because it goes as beautiful as it is, as poppy as it is, it goes after like the main chorus into like this drum and bass area. You know what I mean? Where it's just fucking chaos, but all like, you know, that there's a lot of work that went into it. Okay, so in 2002, he comes out with this album called Still, which I believe was supposed to be a soundtrack for another movie, but I didn't write down what it was. But it's a lot of renditions of his other songs.
Yeah, just looking off.
Quiet, peaceful renditions. Everything is like acoustic or just really soft. Yeah. Just really easy on the ear. Also in 2002, he came out with the Live and All That Could Have Been album.
I think I bought the live version of Hurt off that album, off iTunes.
That makes sense. That was a big one. Yeah. I had both the album and the music video for it. There was a video for it that had even more songs than the album, I think. No, maybe it didn't. The DVD didn't have quite as much as the CD did, but I had both. And I bought at individual times. And it was really, really good. It had like that 3-panel kind of show. You know, they have the 3 panels doing different stuff and just really learning the visuals. The visuals at that time, that was amazing that they could do that shit. Totally. With like the sorts of pixels that they were using. But they had a lot of the bigger songs on that. It was just a compilation of the really good songs.
I remember off of that, like I said, like the way that he did Hurt. I don't know if he did it on the piano or if he did on the piano, I believe. Yeah. But I remember the part whenever he goes, "I'm still right here," and then he just sort of pauses, and then like the audience just like goes fucking crazy. Like nowadays, whenever he plays that song and he says, "I'm still right here," it sort of like feels like a celebration kind of feeling, like you know, like I survived, I'm still here kind of feeling. Yeah. That gives you the goosebumps whenever you listen to it.
When you listen to the original song, it's like a big negative note. Yeah, it's like boom. Yeah, like very weird feeling. Yeah. Altogether, I thought it was a really good compilation of songs. One thing from that I'd say that was really fucking great was his version of Eraser. Eraser was really good.
Who did Eraser?
Huh?
You said it was his rendition of Eraser.
It was just a different version of the original.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to say like it was a cover or something.
No, it wasn't a cover. It was a song, I want to say, that he did on Downward Spiral. Okay. Which is where it belonged. It sounds great on the Downward Spiral, but the kind of images in the background and stuff were fucking good for the song Eraser.
Gotcha.
2006, we have an album. This is after he goes to rehab and he moves back from New Orleans. He moves from New Orleans to Los Angeles right after he gets married. He's not on drugs anymore. He's got one of his best albums, in my opinion, and probably your opinion as well. With Teeth.
Absolutely. And just thinking about, like, yeah, they had, like, The Fragile was probably like their last, like, big album. And then in between, they did, like, little remix albums and then
a lot
live album or whatever. Then after all that, from 99 to 2005 or 2006, whatever year it was, then they come out with Teeth and, like, all this time. And then I remember there being hype over this album before it came out.
Right.
Like, there being, like, little teasers on MTV of, like, right before the music video of Bite the Hand That Feeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, there's little, like, 10-second clips and, like, 9 Inch Nails, and then it said the date, you know, whatever when the album was coming out. And, like, shit.
Or only.
Yeah. But no, but it was specifically for that video because I think that was the first video they released off of that album. And there was just, like, kind of like, they're coming. It's coming. You know, be here whenever it comes.
Yeah.
And then, bam, it hits. And that music video of just, like, them in, like, that room and, like, them just rocking out to the Bite the Hand That Feeds, which is a great song. I love that song.
Right.
But if you want to talk about songs that fucking impacted the shit out of me, All the Love in the World.
Oh, man.
And Right Where It Belongs. The first song and the last song. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
The first song and the last song had this huge impact. Right Where It Belongs, I remember listening to you, and you asked me before we did the show how, like, well I was into, like, how big I was into Nine Inch Nails. And I said I really wasn't. And you're like, even after I introduced, or even, you know, you're trying to, I guess you're trying to say, like, you introduced them to me or something like that. Which you really
I didn't.
But there was a time period where we were listening to it together. But even then, I wasn't, like, listening to a lot of it. It was always just sort of, like, little tiny sporadic moments. It was you that showed me Right Where It Belongs, and there was a lyric in there that's, what is it, Free the Animal from Its Cage or something like that. And as soon as I heard that was huge when we were into music, and that was huge whenever Animal was coming out of me.
Yeah.
So as soon as I heard the words Free the Animal from Its Cage, and, like, there is, like, a real, like, not creepiness, but there's a beauty to that song. It's all piano. It's just, you know, nothing crazy going on like any of his other songs. It's just very bare. And the piano has this really just pretty sound to it. And then him saying these words, you know, Free the Animals from His Cage, just felt like the chaos that goes on inside of me and the stuff that I'm releasing from it, but still, like, finding peace in there somewhere.
Right.
You know, like, just listening to that song, like, that's overall what it gave to me. It just gave me, like, me feeling peace through all of this chaos that I was going through in my life with music, you know.
Right.
But that's all I gotta say about that song. Other than that, fucking Only is, like, the fucking greatest fucking song in the world. Oh my God.
It seems like the entire album is based on solipsism. You know what I mean? Kind of like that Matrix feel. Like, this is not a real reality that we're experiencing. This is just the way we're choosing to view it. You know what I mean? And it seems like that is a common thing in many of the songs, especially Only and especially Right Where It Belongs. I wanted to say that this is an album that certainly is heavily produced, but also at the same time, a lot of groove. You know what I mean? And while it has that depression aspect to it, I guess nihilism to it, it's also kind of poppy in a certain degree.
No, yeah, very much so is. I mean, and that's not a bad thing at all. It's
No. I mean, that's essentially his roots. You know, I mean, every other band he's ever been in, he's been the one that's really let's get this fucking sold. You know what I mean? And I think that before With Teeth was the dark period. Not any worse, not any better. It was necessary to be what the music is now, and the music is great to listen to. It's just, I mean, there's certain music you want to listen to whenever you're like, I'm okay to listen to really dark, depressing music, and there's sometimes when you're not okay with that.
But you listen to it fucking anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Lord knows I've been in that boat before.
Yeah, so I mean, also, like, this album also had, like, a shitload of really great songs. like all the way through. It wasn't just like bearable. It wasn't just like it just went together. You know, I mean, like I said with Fragile, everything flows together. This didn't necessarily exactly have that, but almost all of them were fucking hit songs.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
How fucking catchy was "Every Day Is Exactly the Damn Same." Like,
Yeah.
I remember first hearing that song and trying so bad to like play it. Like, how many times have we tried playing it on guitar and like I try and play it and it'd be like, no, it's not playing this, play it like this, and then you play it, and in my head I was like, I'm playing it the right way. This bitch ain't playing it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
a few songs I want to mention on here that probably aren't quite as commonly known are "Sunspots," which is a really good fucking bass line as well, and a good feel. I just really enjoy this song, and "Beside You in Time." Which I believe they actually had a show called Beside You in Time. It was a DVD. But the song itself is so amazing because it's kind of like that whole world, the day the whole world went away feel to it. But it's like got these sounds that like they pan differently. On your left, it sounds a lot different than the right, but they're all like waving in a certain frequency. And the way that it feels is so weird because have you ever like drove down the road kind of fast, and then you've got like somebody putting down the window on your right side, but it makes this weird fucking ear sound. You're like wop wop wop, and you're like, dude, you got to change this. It's fucking up my ears.
Yeah.
That song has that in it. It's so fucking weird because it like it's like a weird sort of like it's not going right with the frequency that your body's working on. So your body's trying to keep up with it, and then eventually, whenever it does that, it explodes. And that, it's just one of those things that you really got to enjoy as a listener, especially if you like the way that music works and you like the functions and how they happen and all the details of like electronic music. You will really enjoy something like Beside You in Time because you'll feel that, especially with fucking headphones or, you know, up loud and using anything. You know, you can have open music. As long as it's really loud, you'll really get to hear those frequencies coming out of your left and your right. Obviously, right where it belongs, you were talking about before. I remember the first time I heard that song, it was like really late night, and I was coming home from somewhere. I don't remember the details of everything that was going on, but I listened, like, I've heard the album over and over again, but I really sat down and listened to the lyrics, and I just gave it time. I put my attention on it. Because whenever I drive, I can fucking do that. Like, I can put attention on music more than any other time. And I listened to Right Where It Belongs, and it hit me so fucking deep. And it kind of, like, resonated with a lot of, like, the feelings I felt, especially at the time. And I remember bawling my fucking eyes out the first time I listened to it, man. It just hit so deep. And like you said, man, I mean, it's kind of got an uplifting sort of depression to it. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of that's that solipsism, that nihilism, you know, that negative energy, but at the same time, it's not. You know what I mean? It's got that feel to it, but it's just, it makes you more in tune with what's going on.
I think it did to me, like, being able to use this as an example, even though you clearly mixed up your memories, the moment whenever I was when I was listening to Gary play the guitar part to our song "Wake Up," it just gave me like that swaying to side, dancing with the trees kind of feeling with the wind and looking at the clouds and everything like that. Like that song just sort of does that. You can like you could close your eyes and you could just sort of like go with the flow. You get lost in it and it sort of takes you. Which has always been the music that I've loved the most. If I could say one last thing about this album before we go to the next one, All the Love in the World. I remember hearing that song and really loving it, especially because it kind of goes into like this really cool, like upbeat kind of thing at the end.
Yeah.
How do you get all the love in the world? How do you?
Yeah. Actually, I'm glad that you mentioned that because like that was the exact inspiration for whenever I recorded Between a Safe Place and Home, the very end where I've got different vocals lapping on each other.
Yeah.
That was the song.
Oh, nice.
That made me want to do that.
You stole it from him.
I stole it from Nine Inch Nails. That's
music.
It's a common thing for my music.
Nah, I'm just saying that's music in general. Just people stealing shit from everybody else. anyways.
Me stealing from Nine Inch Nails is not an uncommon thought. Yeah, man, 2007, we got Year Zero. It was only a year later, and this was a concept album.
What was the concept?
The concept was based on politics and how fucked up the world's going to be in another 15 years.
This was in like the prime time. Well, not the prime time. This was like the last stretch of W. I remember watching a live performance of it was a live performance of that one song that you just said you cried to. What's that? Right Where It Belongs. It was Right Where It Belongs. And he had the screen. This is when they were doing shows. They had the screen right in front of him doing visuals.
Yeah.
And he was singing that song, and like there was an image of George W. whenever the guy was telling him that the planes had just crashed into the World Trade Center. Mm-hmm. And as soon as they showed his face, the entire audience, boo! Just like booing the shit out of W.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, he's trying to say something. He's trying to do something. I don't know what he's trying to do. If he's just trying to be artistic by having a tragic moment like that being the visual for that music, or if he was trying to like say something like a lyric supposed to speak about Bush in general. I don't know. I do not know. I would like to know. But you saying that Year Zero is the concept of that, then that totally makes fucking sense to me now.
Yeah. It was just pretty political in a lot of the things, especially songs like Capital G. Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy this album?
No, this is where I started to not like Nine Inch Nails anymore, actually.
I really enjoyed it, but I didn't like it at first. It took me a minute.
I remember my mom bought this album because she had really liked With Teeth. So she was like, ooh, Nine Inch Nails came out with a new album. I got to get it. And then we listened to it, and we looked at each other, and we were like, I don't know. It just doesn't have the same feeling that With Teeth
It didn't. It wasn't quite as poppy.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. But there were a lot of really great songs in it, just like in their own merit. You know what I mean? I want to say that there are songs on this album that kind of, in a certain way, gave birth to like dubstep.
Really?
Yeah. I don't really know where dubstep is on the timeline, but I've never heard anything like that before until I heard Year Zero, and that's like the beginning of just.
What year did this come out? 2007.
Yeah.
That's kind of when dubstep and Skrillex and Deadmau5.
A little after it.
Okay.
Yeah, but a lot of stuff on here is obviously has to be influence to what dubstep became. I couldn't really pinpoint a song specifically. I just remember Survivalism was the big song. I still to this day don't really care for that song that much. Mm-hmm. Capital G I thought was great. Me, I'm Not, I thought was great. Bessel was great. The Warning was great. Meet Your Master was pretty fucking awesome. The Great Destroyer, I think, is the song that really took off that whole dubstep feel.
Okay.
And In This Twilight was fucking beautiful. What I liked about In This Twilight, and that's probably my favorite one on the album, but it was kind of like a really soft song. I don't know if it was like about a chick, but it was like that kind of song. Mm-hmm. And in the song, one of the things that the rhythm is going off of is like, or I would say, I guess it's technically a percussion. It's like this drill sound, like this, like it's kind of obnoxious, but the way it works with the music is fucking great. It makes me want to put drills into the music that I listen to today. I guess that's about all that I have to say about Year Zero. Mm-hmm. If you're ready to move on.
Sure.
In 2008, only a year after that, he comes up with this, it's a 4-track album that's 36 songs, not named at all. Mm-hmm. Not voiced at all. Mm-hmm. No lyrics. Mm-hmm. It's called Ghost.
Yep.
It's 1 through 4. It was just like a lot of random sounds. There was music, mm-hmm. but there was like 2 or 3 instruments at a time, mm-hmm. and there wasn't a lot going on. Wonderful concept album, but I don't really know what the concept was.
Okay, man. Let me drop some fucking.
I've been waiting on it.
Okay, so Ghost. Basically, this was the first independent album that Trent did after leaving Interscope Records, which is the label they were on for pretty much the past several albums. So he just wanted to just do whatever he wanted to do. He wanted to write an album completely based off of impulse, which to me, I know for a fact when I'm writing an album, I've been working on a damn album for I don't know how many years now. To do it on impulse is like the scariest thought in the fucking world to me, because like now I'm at a point where it's like I gotta paint the picture in my head first and then I can put it out, which I'm sure musicians do it that way. But Trent Reznor just went completely on impulse, and he was just like, he didn't want anything to hold him back. He just wanted to create whatever came out of him.
Right.
So a lot of these songs are just that. Are all these, like the first 6 songs, yeah, they're not much, but it's just like, he just was like, okay, I'm going to go. Okay, and then he just sort of went, and then he created a song, and it's like, that's what that song is going to be. He didn't like go back. It's like, I wasn't feeling this. So maybe I should change this up. It's like, no, he kept it and just kept going. I admire that so fucking much. I think that is an awesome thing to do. I think that's an awesome concept to just completely go off impulse, to not let any sort of detractors or anything make you question yourself and be like, oh, this isn't going to work. This is going to be stupid. Nobody's going to like this. Fuck it all.
Right.
Just fuck it all and just go for it.
But on another side of it, don't you think that it could be like, I'm just playing devil's advocate at this point. Don't you think it could just be a ploy of just kind of taking advantage of your position and your fame and to make money? Easy fucking money.
I'm sure you could have, okay? But as the listener, I'm not thinking about that.
Right.
I wanted to listen to this album. I knew what it was, but I never listened to it.
Yeah.
I wanted to listen to it. And before we did the show, I was listening to it, and every song brought back a memory.
Whoa.
Every single song took me to a place. It took me whenever I was like walking down a hallway, just like furious, but like I just had like these noises going on in my head. Like, not like, I don't even know how to explain it. And one of the songs reminded me of a time where I got really, really high, and I was crashing with you and Trevor, and I was lying on the floor on my sleeping bag, and I was trying to go to sleep, but I couldn't because I was still so fucked up. And I closed my eyes, and like it was like literally like a 5-hour cartoon reel that just went on in my head of like shapes, just like kind of like it went from like a Zeppelin into fucking Mickey Mouse into a fucking rhino into a fucking, like it was just like molding and like kind of like.
I'm not gonna lie, I miss those days.
But I'm saying, one of these songs, it reminded me of lying on your floor, tripping out, wishing to God I could just fall asleep.
Yeah.
We weren't getting high. I got high with like 4 of my friends that were like right down the road, and I walked home. I walked to your house, stoned out of my mind, trying to unlock the door, and then getting in, and then just lying on the floor for 5 hours, just wishing to God it would stop. That all came from like a 2-minute song off this. This song does more to me emotionally than any of their albums ever did. Okay. So that's why I have a lot of...
What track is that?
I think it was Ghost number 6 or Ghost number 5. I don't remember exactly. I have to go back and find it, but they all have
6 or 5?
They all have like a certain kind of like tone to them to where you don't know. I mean, obviously there's no names to it, so you can't use that as reference. But
that's what sucks, because there's a song I really dug on the album. Yeah. But I can't find it, and I don't want to go through 36 fucking tracks.
You just got to do it, man. You got to go. You got to take a trip. You got to take an adventure, man. That's what you got to fucking do. You're scared to go on the adventure, but I think you should, just to see, get to that moment.
Next time that I go on a long drive, I'll probably go pick up my son. I'll probably just jam Ghost.
You'll probably fall asleep while you do that shit, dude.
That's probably not a good idea. Yeah, you're right. You ready to move on, or is...
I just want to say, like I was saying before, and I think this ties in with just my overall love for instrumental songs, instrumental music, that these little songs, these little random, impulsive little doodles that he did had so much weight to them for me, because I was able to create the visual in my head. We were talking about that earlier, about how the music creates the visual, and there's music, but there's 0 words. So it's just you're allowing yourself to create the story, to create the images, to create the characters, to create whatever it is you want to create in your head. And to me, that's the most powerful music. You could say the one lyric, I hurt myself today, blah, 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 and a million people in this world are able to relate, and they buy the album, bam, you're a millionaire. Yeah,
Right.
But
Is that easy?
having just a single note or just a single, like do something to you on the inside,
Yeah.
that is what proves to me that music is more than just frequencies and vibrations and sounds.
Yeah.
But that's all I got to say about that.
I would have to say that lately I've been listening to a lot of instrumentals. That's mostly because I don't like a cappella. All right. So
Nobody's laughing at your shitty joke.
hey man, all of the fans are laughing right now. All right, so an album that came in 2008 was actually for free download. It wasn't like every other album, and that's probably why it just slipped right past me.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, this album's called The Slip, and there's only like one song I really dug on the album, but I thought it was fucking great. He was mentioned saying that this one's on me, and it was a free download for all the fans. So you were able to get it completely for free on the Nine Inch Nails website, and yeah, man, I think when artists do that, it's just amazing. I mean, the same thing that Radiohead did, and a lot of great musicians. I like it when they do that.
Are you saying that because you're always just broke as shit, and whenever you get a little gold ticket from an artist, and you're like, oh my god, like you just sort of like turn into,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm broke as shit. Anytime you guys give me free shit, I dig it, and I just want to show you appreciation every single time. The song that I really dug on The Slip was Discipline, and it has probably like the most funk than any other Nine Inch Nails song I've ever listened to. As a matter of fact, the first time I ever listened to it was basically like a YouTube video of Boogie Nights. I think it was Boogie Nights. The one with John Travolta doing the disco dance on the dance floor.
That was Saturday Night Fever. Boogie Nights.
Saturday Night
Boogie
Fever.
Nights had Mark Wahlberg wherever he stands up and he shows his pretty long dick. Totally different movie.
I want to see that.
That's pretty good. That's a good dick.
That was a good dick. Yeah, okay, so it was Saturday Night Fever, and John Travolta's doing the dance. Like, the whole time, it's just a loop of John Travolta doing the dance, but it's a song Discipline, and it fucking fits.
Nice.
Like, it is perfect. That is a song that you should do. And that's what I like out of Nine Inch Nails. Like, whenever I do the karaoke songs, I really want to get into, like, a fucking a dance.
Yeah.
Every single time, and it's like, I can't dance. Maybe I should work on a routine.
Nah, man. Then it's all choreographed. It's all staged, man. You gotta let the music just sort of take control of you, and you might look like one of those inflatable
That's what I
fucking
look
guys
like all the time.
at the used car store or whatever. But fuck it.
A flailing inflatable tube man.
Yeah. That's really how he dances, by the way. Anyway.
Yeah. That's pretty much how I dance. You ready for the next album?
Yeah, of course.
2013, I remember I bought this album when it came out. It was called Hesitation Marks.
I remember you were disappointed by this one.
I was disappointed.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not even gonna lie. I remember hearing on the radio, Came Back Haunted, and that was like, okay, that's okay. I hope there's better shit. And there was, just not by much.
Well, then, I'll give you a shocker for you here. We haven't done it yet. I'm going to go with my song for the episode.
All right.
And it's off this album.
Okay.
The song's called Find My Way.
All right. Everybody, find this song, because we're not going to play it for you because of copyright issues. So listen to this song.
I think the reason that I like that song the most is that it has the sort of loneliness, the sadness feeling to it that I like from most Nine Inch Nails songs, but it just has this sort of this soft sort of swaying thing that it does to me. Like as soon as the piano comes in for what the chorus is,
Yeah.
I can't help but just like move my shoulders and just sort of feel it. And then that's really what it did for me when I first heard that song. I could have gone with any of those damn songs that I was just praising the shit out of in the beginning of the show. But there was just something about that one where it just made me move and made me just sort of get in it. And some of the lyrics were kind of relatable. I'm just trying to find my place, and where he was saying something like, I've been everywhere, I've seen everything, or something like that, but still like just trying to feel relevant, or like just trying to like, find my place in this world or whatever after experiencing all these things. There's something just in knowing that if this isn't their newest album, but their most recent one until they come out with their new one, that he still feels that way, or if that's just like words that are just flowing through his head, like still just trying to like figure out where he fits in music and in everything. To me, that just sort of adds like a little cool piece to it. But yeah, I really love this song.
Yeah. I mean, whenever I was talking about hesitation marks, it was a disappointment for me because I was expecting something more, but I don't think it was a total flop. And I'd say that song was certainly on the list of songs that I would listen to, or that I have, or that I still do listen to. There's a lot of notable tracks on here. That song specifically, it does remind me a lot of How to Destroy Angels song. I don't really exactly remember which one it was, but a lot of How to Destroy Angels sounds a lot like the hesitation marks. Certain notes are the exact same, like the exact frame of chorus, or it's just it's kind of, you can definitely tell there's a similarity. I remember How to Destroy Angels came out first, and then I heard hesitation marks, and then I was like, okay, so everything good about it's kind of a ripoff. You know what I mean? That was my natural thought. But my favorite track on it was probably Copy of a.
Oh yeah. I'm a copy of a
copy of a copy of a. Yeah. That's also how they opened whenever I went to go see 9 Inch Nails. That was the first song they did, and it started with a very minimalistic set. And then it fucking blossomed during the entire song. It was just insane. Like, seeing 9 Inch Nails then and seeing 9 Inch Nails now is a whole different field of difference. Which I'll probably talk about a little bit more of the aesthetics of the show a little bit later. I enjoyed Copy of a. Came Back Haunted was okay. Find My Way is one that I listen to a lot of. But as well as All Time Low. And All Time Low had like this funk element, dude. Very uplifting, very positive. But I think that he tried too uplifting and too positive when he did the song Everything. That is disappointing. If you listen to that song, you're like, what are you doing, Trent? And that probably goes across the board. You probably feel. Have you heard that song?
I would have to listen to it again. Yeah. I know I listened to that whole album, but I just would have to listen to it again.
It's one of those you'd probably either really dig or can't stand. And Various Methods of Escape was actually a really good one as well. But I bought that album, and
you wanted your money back immediately.
I did not, because it's 9 Inch Nails, and I'm a diehard. I'm glad we were able to do this just because I really enjoy, 9 Inch Nails quite a bit. But is there anything else that you'd like to mention about that album, Hesitation Marks?
Oh no, I mean when I was listening to it, I was like, what is it that Johnny doesn't like about this? And the whole time I was thinking, it was like he was probably expecting or hoping for one thing, and then he didn't get it.
That's a lot of it, but I think a lot of it was probably the whole How to Destroy Angels thing.
Yeah.
Because the whole album sounded a lot like that other album. You know what I mean? After this, they did one in 2016, December of 2016. Essentially, they came out with it like a week or two ago from when we were recording this. And it's called Not the Actual Events. And the only song I really was able to give time to was Burning Bright. And that's a really cool song. I really like what they're coming out with.
Yeah, someone that I work with had brought it to my attention that they were putting it out there. And I was like, cool, we're going to get some new 9 Inch Nails. And I think I had seen pictures of Trent Reznor says new music to be released soon or something like that. So him building up the hype. And at this point, with me and Nine Inch Nails, it's just sort of like, I'll listen to it, just like the same way, like, if Alice in Chains said, okay, we're coming out with a new album, I listened to it, I wouldn't be, like, excited about it, but like, okay, let's check out what they're up to nowadays. Yeah. You know, so whenever I heard that they were going to do that, it was like, okay, cool, you know, my panties ain't wet, but,
right.
You know, let's casually watch as Christy tries to tiptoe from not being heard with her fucking loud ass stomps. Anyways,
she looks like a Scooby-Doo character walking around right
now. So yeah, as soon as I heard him say that, yeah, they're coming out with new music, I was like, awesome, cool. I'll check it out when it comes out. And he was like, no, they just released like a little LP type EP thing. Yeah. I know what it means, but whenever a band says, yeah, we're releasing an EP right now, I just want to fucking punch him in the face because you sound like such a fucking pretentious douchebag. Fuck you. Anyways, but yeah, they were like, yeah, he totally they released an EP of a few songs and Dave Grohl's drumming on it. I was like, Dave Grohl from fucking one of my favorite drummers of all time is playing with Trent Reznor. I know why he is, because they started collaborating.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they started collaborating on this whole thing that Foo Fighters was doing a couple years back. It's all based off of a studio that a whole bunch of bands recorded at. They all came back to it to like work on songs or some shit like that. It's this whole documentary that Dave Grohl did. But as soon as I heard that he was working with him, I was like, that's so fucking cool, because Dave Grohl is like the coolest dude in the world and one of the most talented drummers in the world. So I was excited about that. But then you just think like it's like a super group now. You got fucking Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters, Nirvana, and now you got Trent Reznor, one of the most brilliant musicians of all time. Like, what are they gonna create together? What's it gonna sound like? What's it sound like when you get these two people in the room? Granted, I have a feeling it's gonna be mostly like Trent Reznor, since he plays every single instrument in the world. He plays drums, bass, piano, guitar. He does everything in his band. You know, is he just gonna be like, Dave, play this on the drums? And Dave's gonna be like, okay, like. How's it gonna go? But I'll leave that behind the scene detail alone, because I don't want to know that Trent bullied Dave into.
Hey Trent, how do you like this riff? Is it the best? The best? The best? The best? The best?
That's exactly how their conversations go.
Yeah.
They slip in lyrics of their own songs. That's musicians for you. They're so full of themselves. All their conversations are their lyrics.
They're salty. Okay.
Like a slug.
Yeah, man.
Anyways, yeah, but no, I'm excited that they're coming out with new music. But will I run to the record store? No, because record stores don't exist anymore. Will I run to the iTunes store to buy it for 99 cents? Maybe. But I'm just excited that they're still making music. After all this damn time, they're still doing stuff, and that to me is always an inspiring thing. It's just as long as they don't fucking write off their previous fames with their older songs. Yeah. And like, hey, we're the band that did this song. Remember us? I think they're always trying. I think he's always trying to do something completely different. That's why sometimes it is hit and miss. Sometimes people like, I remember one song off of their last one, the one that we just talked about that you were disappointed in, and he was doing some sort of thing with one of the sample sounds, and it sounded really kind of off, and I was like, this is weird, this is different, I don't know how to feel about it. And then the other instruments, like the drums and the other instruments came into it, and it's like that noise that was kind of in the forefront of the song that was kind of weird out is kind of in the back part of the song now, right. And it fits it very perfectly. Before
it was kind of void.
Yeah. So I think he's a mastermind of music.
He's a genius.
I think it was yesterday our good friend Gary was saying, there's a reason that he's still coming out with music. It's because he's one of the greatest, music minds in the world, Yeah. So I'm definitely stoked.
I mean, either way, whoever you are, looking at Trent Reznor and exactly what he's done. There's no way to argue against him being a fucking music genius.
Oh hell yeah. He's one of those. He's just one of those guys.
It's just inarguable. because he's continuously proven himself over and over and over and over and over again.
I think the only people that would argue with that are just people who are close-minded to that style of music in general.
Right.
You know, like they don't want to listen to it. They
Right.
want they want to listen to their Biebs or their Rihannas or their JTs and their Lil Waynes or their Yeezys or their Ho. I could literally go on and on about all these musicians.
Lil Wings.
I said Lil Wayne.
Same thing.
They live in those. They live in that little, as you the word that you say a lot. They live in that paradigm, and that's totally understandable. Nothing against that, but
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
want to knock it.
I think when you look at like the Mount Rushmore of this kind of music, fucking Trent Reznor's up there. He's one of the best.
Yeah.
the best of you.
I mean, he is the face of industrial music, and he's not exactly what you think. I mean, he's not exactly like the industrial sound. He's a lot more than just industrial. Mm-hmm. He is pop to a certain degree. He is instrumental. He is a lot of different things whenever it comes down to it. When you think industrial, you kind of want to think that one specific style of, like, you know, the second form of Ministry, mm-hmm. and Skinny Puppy, you know what I mean, and things like that. Throbbing Gristle. I just like saying that band name.
Have you even heard that band?
Yeah, only because of the documentary.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you're throwing this band out, like, you're taking my hipster glasses off and they're putting them on you, and like, yeah, Throbbing Gristle. Yeah,
I honestly,
you probably never heard of this band before, but they're really great.
Yeah, I just like the way I like saying it. I like saying Throbbing Gristle.
Well, good for you.
So Trent Reznor's done a lot of different projects outside of Nine Inch Nails. Of course, he sang with Ministry a while back whenever he was having that TVT issue, the Television Tunes album issue at the very beginning. Reznor was in the David Bowie music video, I'm Afraid of Americans, which we thought, or at least I thought, he was a part of the song, or it was Trent Reznor's song. Mm-hmm. It's really just David Bowie's song, mm-hmm. and he was just in the music video. That's it. He produced 3 Manson albums, Portrait of an American Family, Smells Like Children, and Antichrist Superstar. He produced soundtracks, Natural Born Killers and Lost Highway. Under the name Tapeworm, for 10 years, Reznor collaborated with Danny Lohner, which is known as Renholder, or Renholder, which is very surprising to me. Maynard, James Keenan, and Atticus Ross, but the project was terminated before release.
Oh, wow.
Because they could have made it work, but apparently they were saying that, you know, especially between him and Maynard, music could be better. And if it was better, then they would have fought mm-hmm. to make it work. But it just, the songs weren't that great. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Which I can respect that, but I would still have loved to hear Tapeworm. Mm-hmm. And then in 2010, with his wife and Atticus Ross, they created a band called How to Destroy Angels.
For a very slight moment, I felt like his wife was slowly going to turn into Yoko Ono.
She looks like Yoko Ono.
Yeah, so I was very scared for a good while. But then I realized, you know, he's going to love who he's going to love. Love is love. I can't judge a man for who he loves.
No.
Just don't ruin the tunes. That's all I'm saying. Don't ruin the tunes.
Well, he married her in 2009. Filipino-American songwriter. I forgot the name of the band that she was in before. Mm-hmm. But it was, you know, she was, you know, doing music on her own. They've got kids together. Lazarus Echo, Balthazar, one that's unknown, and then Nova. Yeah, those are their kids together. I'm not kidding. Lazarus, and then his middle name is Echo. Definitely Trent and Mary Quinn's kids. But their band How to Destroy Angels is very good. I really enjoy it. I think it's fucking great. 2 albums that they came out with.
Yeah, I enjoyed How to Destroy Angels so much that, like, it was really like becoming. Whenever I first heard it, it was like I'd listen to this shit every day if I could. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
There's something about the
and like the second album, I don't dig all that much, but there are like 2 songs on it that I love. You know what I mean? The first one, almost every song. At least 3 out of 6.
Right.
But they're really fucking great songs. And that's, I think, How to Destroy Angels is the reason why I didn't enjoy Hesitation Marks. Because that album came out first, and it was like the same notes, the same vibe, the same feel, better vocals. I liked Mary Quinn Mandig's voice on How to Destroy Angels. I thought it was great. It was definitely a difference. And still, Trent's still singing as well. Just not anywhere as often. Not single parts as much as just backup. Outside of How to Destroy Angels, he's also in 1996. He's noted for, Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails is credited for the music in the game Quake. And the NIN in the box is found on the ammunition boxes in the game, which is something I didn't know. He also did the sound for Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Did you know that?
I did not know that. He gets around, man. What the fuck?
He gets around. As far as film scores, he did the film score for Social Network.
Great one.
With Atticus Ross in 2010.
Yeah.
One thing I have to say about it, I remember the song Creep that was done in that, and that was fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those little kids covers.
It works, though. Totally works.
But it was really good. It was a good soundtrack. I watched the movie knowing that he did the soundtrack for it, you know. Also, the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Fucking phenomenal.
And they did a Led Zeppelin cover on there.
Yeah, they did.
The Immigrant song.
Yeah. With
Atticus Ross and Karen O from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, I mean, everything else that I've got written on this paper I've already talked about. So that, I guess that's what concludes Nine Inch Nails. Trent Reznor and his success. Actually, for a quick second, I do want to talk about the show that I saw. I saw them, I don't know if it was 2013 or 2014, but the show was friggin'...
Christy says it's 2014.
Was it 14? Okay, well, the show was friggin' amazing. The images were great. The visuals were unlike anything I could have ever fucking imagined. I was looking all over for something after I saw the concert, see if they had any other something on YouTube that somebody may have posted, but nobody did. Later on, and during this research for the show, I saw a video that was put together in 2013 of what they were gonna do for that tour. And so they kind of go behind scenes about those little background basically screens, the screens that they have. And instead of those like 3 major screens that they had for that one live album that we were talking about before, this time they had like 8 or 9 screens doing different things, and they were like really smart screens. Like they were set up to where like they could open a certain way, the light pixels or whatever, and you could shine lights through them or not. And then they can also like video somebody in front of them and have the shadow, and then have a delayed shadow. So it's like a shadow of the person, but like maybe like 5 seconds later. And it was just like, you're able to find it online. I forgot what it's named under on YouTube, but it's specifically 2013. And it's just something I would advise anybody to fucking check out, because that was like the show that I saw. I mean, that's how they set it up. And it was just like, they started with like a minimalistic set on Copyova, and then ended up fucking exploding. And then they've got like these lights set up, like these little squares going in and out, and like affecting all the other ones. You know, it's just like the most insane thing, and so much work was put into it. Like the Nine Inch Nails manager or whatever said, dude, for the whole career I've been sitting backstage not doing anything. Like now I'm one of the people dressed in black moving one of these fucking screens around, and I'm tired as fuck. You know, I mean, it was really interesting because everybody's involved, and like the visuals is not just Trent Reznor. There's another guy that's involved as well that does the visuals for them, and like the planning and the figuring it out. I mean, it was just amazing whenever I saw him live, and you could see everything that was put out, and it was magic because you can't initially wrap your head around it if you're not in it, if you're not doing it. And so watching it was just fucking peak experience, and I've got to see him again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I've got to see Nine Inch Nails again. One of my top favorite bands. I'd say that they fit into my top 5 if I was ever forced to have a list of 5.
I think I've tried getting that out of you at least 2 times by now.
It's very difficult to put my favorite bands in a tight little spot. Nine Inch Nails fits though.
That's cool. Yeah, I've never seen them. They've always been, I guess they've always been on the bucket list for me. And like I was telling you before, like little story, like how I want to at least, you know, be on some different state of mind while experiencing their music. Like,
dude, you don't even need to because they put you in one.
I want to.
They put you in one.
I want to rub up on strangers, and I want to do freaky things while listening to Nine Inch Nails.
I'm just letting you know.
Just saying.
We can create ecstasy together.
That's true.
All right, man. I guess that.
Oh, wait. I gotta ask Christy a question. Christy, come over here for a second. This is Christy, our unpaid intern. Christy, so Johnny was telling me how he sent you a Nine Inch Nails song. That's one of your guys' songs. What was it called? We're in this together. You speaking to the microphone, please?
We're in this together.
Do you remember the song, and do you remember when Johnny sent it to you?
Not when he sent it to me, but I do remember whenever it really meant more to me than anything else.
Oh, what was it about the song that? Because I can't think of the song off the top of my head. I don't want you to like explain it or like what it was, but like emotion wise, like when you first heard that song and Johnny's like, "This song reminds me of you." Like, what was your emotion behind it?
I agree. Like, it's one of those things where I felt like we got a little bit more connected in some way.
That's beautiful. All right, get the fuck out of here. I guess on that note, John, I guess we can wrap it up. It was fun to do a showcase special on your favorite band. One of these days, we'll get to do a special on my favorite band, not Deftones, but we'll probably go into like something I'm passionate about because you were real lit up about doing this episode, and I admire that. I always admire your passion.
Right.
But one of these days, dude, we gotta fucking just sort of like step out of that box, man. Like fucking.
Well, you know
let's
what?
Let's do a fucking Garth Brooks special next week, guys. Hashtag it Garth Brooks yes or Garth Brooks fuck no.
But I do want to mention we have a giant list, thanks to our fans, of what they want us to do. They would like to hear us do. And very grateful for you guys stepping in. Don't stop it. Keep going. And, I mean, I don't know if we're going to draw them out of a hat, but we're definitely going to create a very fair option for what we decide to do a showcase on. And it's not going to be just what we want to do. It's going to be what, you know, what we can learn. Something that we can experience, you know, for the first time, maybe. You know, and yeah, definitely keep coming in on that.
Hashtag Garth Brooks yes, hashtag Garth Brooks no.
Hashtag no.
Anyways, on that note, until next time, John. Good night, goodbye, and good luck.